Hi guys, I am Glenn with Mr. Crafty Man, and welcome to Sunday Crafternoon. I have been promising you for the last 2 weeks that we were going to be doing a cutting board. So I have got a cutting board here today, and what we're going to do is we are going to laser engrave this using the GlowForge. And I think what I'm going to do on it, I'm going to put like different measurements and everything that you would use on the kitchen in this. And I think I had, I believe I showed you guys an example a couple weeks ago. So what we are going to do with this first is we have got to cover it with tape, like with masking tape, because if we don't cover it with masking tape, once the laser starts engraving on it, it's going to burn all around the edges. And I've got a big thick roll of masking tape that I had been using, but what I found with that is it doesn't seem to stick very well. I don't know what the deal with it is. It's probably about 12 inches wide, and it was definitely making my job really easy for me, but then it would start popping up about a quarter of the way through the project, and it would get caught on the laser head. So what we will do here, let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. What I'm going to do here is I'm just going to nicely place masking tape over this cutting board. We don't want the masking tape to overlap on this, because if it overlaps, then you get an area that doesn't look so hot once it's laser engraved. It's normally lighter, or it's an area that doesn't have any engraving at all on it. And I'm just, for the sake of ease, I am putting tape on this board even in areas that it's not going to be engraved, and that's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt anything. Okay, and one more strip. And you guys may hear my Congo African Grey parrot in the background whistling and making noises. My mother-in-law had come to visit from Germany over Christmas, and she just went home a couple days ago. But every year while she's here, she teaches the bird new annoying sounds and whistles. So that's what I've been dealing with the last couple of days. And she'll probably do it for about a month before she forgets about it, and I won't have to hear it anymore. So what I'm doing is I'm just folding the extra tape over so it doesn't come peeling up. And this here is kind of what we're left with. I've got a little bit of tape folded over on the back of it. That's okay. It's not going to hurt anything. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to place this inside of the GlowForge. And after I place it inside the GlowForge, we'll go over to the computer, and I've got some screen capture software this time, so we're not just going to have the camera looking over my shoulder, so you'll actually be able to see what I'm doing here. And hopefully I can get my voice in on it. Otherwise, I may have to add in subtitles or something. But anyway, let's head over to the GlowForge and get this piece of wood put inside here. Okay, so we're at the GlowForge, and I've mentioned in other videos that I like to have this this little measurement piece down inside here, because it helps me to be able to put down whatever it is I'm working on nicely and get it lined up. Okay, so we have got our wood down inside of there now. So let's go ahead and close up the GlowForge. And we'll head over to the computer. Okay, so we are over at the computer, and you can see we have the image of the interior of the GlowForge up on our screen here. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have to go back into my previous files and look for the cutting board. I've done several of these cutting boards, so it shouldn't be extremely difficult to find. Okay, let's scroll down here, and there it is. So let me click on it. And what it's going to do now is it's going to bring this particular file or overlay onto the screen. And we're going to have to rotate it to make it fit our current board. The reason why it's sideways is because a lot of times when I put the boards in, I'll lay them sideways because they're a little bigger than this one. So let's go ahead and rotate it. And we will size it down to the size of the board and get it centered. Okay. Now, you see over here it says Cheyenne. That's the person who I had made a board for last, so we're going to change that name. We'll get it up top here centered and kind of sized to fit the current font size. And I'm going to put Jennifer. Okay, actually I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it all capital since all of the other letters on the board are capitalized. And you can see there's a bit of a lag between what you type and when it shows up. Okay, so let's get that sized and get it centered. And something that I like to do, over here on the right I have a message. This last one was kind of a funny one. I believe it says, yummy, that's some good eating over there. What I'm going to do with this one, I'm going to get it sized and everything, and customers can put in whatever message they like, but what I normally put as the default is, nothing says lovin' like something from the oven. So I'll go ahead and put that on here. And once I get it all in there and I'm happy with the spelling and everything, then I'm going to click on the screen here and it will, the lag will catch up with me, and then I can get everything centered. And this is something I really like the GlowForge for. where I can actually put my design and I can see it on the project before I actually print it. But there is kind of a kicker here. Just because it looks this way now does not mean it's going to look this way once we click print. So what I typically like to do, over here I'm checking all of my settings on the left hand side of the screen, and I'm selecting a material. I'm going to say that it's this thick basswood plywood. And what this does when you do this, when you select one of these, is it's going to put in some preset settings. For the most part, the settings are okay. With wood, sometimes I like to go a little bit more high power, so we get a darker engraving on the board. So what we're going to do, there's a couple different things you can do at this point. You can either go over and you can push print, and the laser head will come and it'll kind of autofocus on it and resize it if need be, or we can go up and we can click on autofocus and set a point where we want to autofocus, and at that time it'll resize the board. And then you've got to go in every so often and readjust, recenter, resize your lettering and your design to make sure that it's going to look good. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and send this to the GlowForge for printing. So I will see you at the GlowForge. Our cutting board has finished printing now, so let's go ahead and take it out of the GlowForge. Sorry about the view here, a little cramped. So this is our board, and we're going to take it over to the craft table and we will unwrap it. And I'm just going to pivot the camera around here. You can see the filter for the GlowForge down there. Okay, so this is the part that's kind of a pain in the butt, my least favorite part, and this is unwrapping it. And it seems easy enough, but you're going to see in just a minute what I'm talking about. Let's get all this tape peeled around. See how the laser kind of cut the tape? And something else that it does is all of the places that are hollow, like O's and A's and P's and all that sort of thing, there are going to be little remnants in the center of those with tape inside of them. And we've got to go through and peel every bit of that out of there. So it's not as easy as just pulling the tape loose. Now you should be starting to see why this is my least favorite part. Now my daughter-in-law, Lucia, whenever I make something for her, she always tells me not to pull the tape. She wants to pull the tape herself because, and so, I don't know, something with a lot of these kids today, they say it's satisfying. Things like that are satisfying. To me, I would rather do all of the laser engraving and let somebody else pull the tape. Maybe I'll start having her come over and pull the tape for me. It's kind of like with painting cars. It's kind of a little bit of a hobby of mine. I've painted a few cars. I really love painting, but what I hate is the prep work, and I hate masking off the the trim and all that kind of stuff. But I would just rather have someone else come in, do all the masking for me. Once they've got all the masking done, then call me and I'll come in there in my paint suit with the paint gun and spray the thing down. So we're getting there here. But even though this is a pain, unwrapping these projects, in the end it's all worth it. It turns out really nice. See, now we've got most of the big pieces off. Now we're just going in between everything here. And if you can do this without the tape breaking, it makes it even simpler. But I've been having tape break here. Now see the jars here? How the jars are kind of white looking? That's because they still have the tape inside of them. And I don't know if I mentioned in previous videos that this is just a hobby. And I just really enjoy making things for people. Well, that kind of changed over the last 2 weeks. My wife started giving me issues, for lack of a better word, about how expensive my hobby was and that I can't just be giving everything away. So what I am doing lately is I'm getting an online store set up so people can buy these different projects, and then in one of my businesses I have set up a little shop inside of there, that just a display that has different items that people can come in and order customized, some picture frames and dog tags, just all sorts of stuff, all this kind of stuff you've seen me making. So we're getting a little closer here, and it is looking better. I've actually had the website for quite some time, but I was using it for something besides an online store, and so I've got a lot of work to do over the next few weeks. I really hope to have everything set up and rolling by Valentine's Day, even though I've got the items for sale right now. The online store I want to have done actually before Valentine's Day. Maybe I'd be able to make a little bit on Valentine's Day gifts. I think what my wife doesn't understand is that to be able to get set up to do sales, I'm going to have to make a lot of purchases of materials and everything. So she may end up regretting telling me I've got to start selling these things. See down here, what I find the easiest way to get this stuff off is just kind of scratch it, kind of get it out of those little O's and holes and that sort of thing. And then what I'll do is I'll come through with like a ball of tape here and kind of pull it off. This is a real bear down here in these little numbers. The jars look kind of neat with the tape in there, but unfortunately we can't leave it in there. And these here we have to pull off every single little tiny piece. That's my least favorite thing about the cutting boards, because there is a lot, I call this weeding. There's a lot of weeding to be done here. So I am going to finish this up, and then we will be back with the finished product in a minute. Okay, so I have got all of the weeding done, and the board turned out pretty nice. The light's a little bright here. Let me try getting back and zooming in on it and see if that allows you to see it. So it turned out pretty nice. The one thing that I wish is I wish that I would have set the power for the laser manually instead of allowing the GlowForge to do it itself, because I would have liked the lettering on this to be a little bit darker. I mean, it looks fine, but I kind of like it to be almost a burnt look to it. So that was our project for today. I'm not quite sure what we're going to be doing next week. What we may do is these stainless steel coasters. And so when you get them, they're just a blank stainless steel. And there's all sorts of designs that we can put on these. And these are just some samples that I had made. So we may do some of these next week. I've got so many projects here that we can work on. So we've got those. Something else that's really neat. Here's another coaster I made. And these are slate. So these are really nice as well. So that could be a possibility for next week also. But as I mention every week, I do not have a lot of subscribers. I don't have a ton of viewers. So if you would like and subscribe, I would appreciate it. And other than that, I'm going to be posting a kidney video today also. So my wife is in getting all of the food and everything ready for that, and I will see you next week with another craft video. So thank you for watching and have a great crafternoon. Bye.